If there's one thing that will get people talking, it's Super Smash Bros. Character speculation. I've done a few videos on this channel talking about who I want and who I think will be in Smash, and I've been wrong most of the time. Hell, I think most people's expectations have been shattered, based upon all those Smash prediction videos and very salty Reddit and Twitter posts. With only one character remaining for Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, now is as good as ever to reflect on the downloadable fighters for Super Smash Bros. Ultimate and see how Nintendo did. In this video, I'll be looking at the characters released in both Fighters Pass 1 and 2, and ranking them in order from worst to best. I'm ranking them based on what they bring to Smash, as in their stages, the music, and most importantly, how fun they are to play as and how fun they are to play against. Remember, this is my opinion, and my views and opinions do not reflect on my employer or any future employers. This is Mr. Z-Manx Presents each Fighters Pass character ranked from worst to best. Before we start the list, it would be killer if you subscribe to the channel and hit the bell as well for notifications on future videos. And with that out of the way, let's begin. Also, I'm not including the plant in this list as I don't think of them as a part of the Fighters Passes, and they transcend ranking altogether. ARMS was an interesting one off from Nintendo. I had fun with it, but it didn't have the longevity of other Nintendo products. I was pretty surprised when an ARMS character was confirmed right away for Fighters Pass 2. And it's cool that Nintendo at least wants to do something with the franchise. Granted, at the time of making this video, nothing new has come from the ARMS series. Personally, I would have picked something different for a contemporary Nintendo franchises like Astral Chain or, well, Astral Chain. Regardless of my personal taste, we were dealt with the hand of ARMS, and that's okay. So how does Min Min fare in Smash? I hate this character. Her range is too great and just shuts down a lot of characters. And if you have a linear recovery, Min Min just fucks you off stage. As for playing as her, I'm not too fond of her. Unless her name is Necro, I've never been fond of stretchy characters, and Min Min is not to my liking. I am still glad that ARMS got into Smash. I just hate fighting Min Min. Also, unpopular opinion. The music from ARMS isn't all that amazing.
The time is finally come.
I think most people would have had Byleth as their worst DLC pick, but personally I don't mind them. I think most people's issue with Byleth is that we were already waterboarded with so many Fire Emblem characters in the base game, and if you came from Smash 4, you had 2 Fire Emblem characters as DLC for that title. Plus, Byleth had a tough act to follow, coming after 4 beloved characters and being something of a product placement compared to the other DLC fighters. There's a reason why their trailer has so many dislikes compared to the other characters. All of that drama aside, Byleth is actually pretty fun to play as. There's just so much weight to their attacks, and I feel like you get a lot of reward for planning and being very deliberate with them. They almost feel like a Monster Hunter character, which might have been the case. Time to put on the tinfoil hat and jump on down the Super Smash Bros. Iceberg for this theory. Now, I don't know how valid this is, but it's worth sharing because it is interesting. Supposedly, Nintendo wanted the Monster Hunter to be the closer for Fighters Pass 1, but the Monster Hunter team at Capcom is hesitant about the hunters fighting things that aren't monsters. Similar to how Nagoshi over at Sega is hesitant about Kiryu fighting women, which doesn't explain how Monster Hunter made it into Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite, or Kiryu and Majima fighting women in Project Cross Zone, but I digress. So Sakurai and his team took what would have been a Monster Hunter character and repurposed it into Byleth. This would also explain why the Garrig Monastery is pretty basic, being a transforming stage and the background characters being reused assets from the King of Fighters Stadium. There might be a few holes in this theory, but it kind of makes sense. If your diet consists of Red Bull, endless nights reading Fate and Tsukihime fan theories, and drinking off 4 times a day. Back on topic, I don't mind Byleth. They are fun to play as, the music they brought to Smash slaps, and Byleth just seems like a nice person overall. I think if Byleth and Banjo were swapped around on the release schedule for Fighters Pass 1, people would have been okay with them. Regardless, I am happy that Byleth is here and mess around with them from time to time, but totally understand why people were a bit disappointed with Byleth. Banjo, one of the most beloved Nintendo characters who technically isn't a Nintendo character. Many people who had a 64 growing up played Banjo and absolutely loved those titles. While not my thing, I can respect Banjo for being such an important and influential game, and the general consensus is they are good games. Well, Banjo 1 and Banjo 2 are good. Nuts and bolts is, nostalgia runs deep with Banjo, and if you played those games when you were a kid, that's fine. The problem with a nostalgia pick is that if you don't have nostalgia for that character, they won't really resonate with you, and that's my issue. I wasn't a fan of the 64 and had minimal exposure to the Banjo games when they were really popular, and when I did play them, I wasn't all that fond of them, though I do respect the 2 Banjo games on the 64. So Banjo didn't do much for me. On top of that, Banjo's stage makes me dizzy and their music isn't to my liking. Also, Banjo suffers from what I call Ridley syndrome, where a character is super requested and is on many wish lists, but when they come out, their moveset is kind of lacking. Banjo isn't terribly fun to play as, and fighting against them isn't all that fun either. Still, I am happy Banjo is in, and if you have nostalgia for the character, good for you. Now, whose dick do I have to flatten to get that Croc remake? I've never played Minecraft and never will. Not to sound like a boomer here, like, "Ugh, why is this game for Zoomers in Smash? Where's Himblo Scrimblo from the Jaguar?" I like Minecraft as a concept, just building stuff and having fun. I just never had the attention span to get into it. With that said, this is about Steve and Smash, and I absolutely love how Sakurai and his team nailed the aesthetic of Minecraft down to the wire. That said, part of the appeal for this list is how the character plays. Steve does have a unique move set. Playing as him makes you think about resource management and stage control in a way that no other character has in Smash before it. However, my mind is fried from years of metal concerts, video games, alcohol, and anxiety. I don't want to think when I play someone in Smash, I just want to hit buttons and pit nair go spin. So Steve's moveset isn't to my playstyle, and fighting Steve can be a pain in the butt until you learn the matchup, but I do like seeing how creative Steve players can get. I think if Steve had a few slight tweaks, I wouldn't mind playing as them as much. Also, to the person who did this in bracket, you're a jerk. You're not in Smash because you suck, Rex. I love Xenoblade. Xenoblade Chronicles 1 is an epic for the ages, and one of the games that I think helped JRPGs come back into vogue. Xenoblade Chronicles X is one of my favorite games ever, and Xenoblade 2 is a solid game and a great gateway into JRPGs. And don't get me wrong, I like Xenoblade 2 well enough. I just think that Rex is the wackest protagonist ever, and the plot kind of sucked. But Pyra and Mithra are cool. They have style. You got 2 beautiful women who kick ass with the best of them, and in a perfect world would dump trash-ass Rex and get with a better boyfriend. Share the video if you want Pyra or Mithra to sit on your face. Yeah, Mithra is a bit cheap, but overall I love how the Aegis plays, and I'm happy Xenoblade is getting more exposure. So we'll get that Xenoblade Chronicles X port soon, Nintendo. Right? Right? I'm also really salty that there's no Xenoblade Chronicles X music in Smash. I love JRPGs, easily one of my favorite genres of games. We all knew that Dragon Quest was going to get into Smash at some point, and the hero made a grand entrance for Ultimate. 4 different skins of legendary heroes, all of whom are secretly Gohan. In terms of gameplay, Hero is a lot of fun. I'm actually kind of surprised that Dragon Quest didn't happen earlier for Smash. My only gripe against the Hero is that I wish we got more music from them, but given how hard the LGBT-hating, war crime-denying Dragon Quest composer Koichi Sugiyama is, I'm surprised we got any Dragon Quest music at all. If he had it his way, it would have just been a note to Sakurai and Nintendo just saying, "Fuck you." Still, Hero plays awesome in Smash. All of his moves have a ton of weight to them, and messing around with all the spells makes you feel like you're playing Dragon Quest. In terms of graphics, Sakurai's team nailed Toriyama's style, and I'm sure many old school players love seeing the legendary Arusu and Solo in 3D. Personally, my favorite skin is the Luminary. Their stage is also fun, and yeah, it's pretty basic design-wise, but it's so beautiful and brings back so many good memories of Dragon Quest XI's. I'm sure Sakurai and his team were stoked to work with Dragon Quest, and the result shows with one of Smash's most detailed and enjoyable fighters yet. I'm not a big Tekken fan, but Kazuya is awesome. He just oozes style and badassery, and definitely was a good way to kick off Nintendo's E3 2021 press conference. That said, it was pretty weird that the Heihachi Mi costume was released earlier. That might have been at a point where Sakurai wasn't too sure about having a Tekken rep in Smash. So Tekken was in a weird position where they already had some minor representation in Smash. Regardless though, we are happy that Kazuya is here. Nintendo YouTubers seemed pretty mixed on Kazuya, like, ugh, it's another fighting game character. But that's kind of the point. Sakurai even said it himself. They could have just thrown Kazuya into Smash and called it a day, but if he didn't play like he was from Tekken, it would just be Kazuya in name only. And that's what I like about the later additions to Smash. They play like how they should, and Kazuya plays like how he should. He's difficult, but mastering him gives you a very powerful character with a ton of moves for any situation, and that's how Kazuya plays in Tekken. His ground-based combat and multi-utility moves give Kazuya a unique identity in terms of gameplay, especially when compared to his more fantastical fighting game peers. Not to mention you got a ton of classic Tekken tunes to tie things together. My favorite is the yodeling song, which I'm not going to play for you because the yodeling is too good for any video I can produce. If you had told someone back in the 90s that Cloud, Kazuya, Snake, and Sephiroth would be in the same game, and the same game made by Nintendo no less, they'd be like, what the fuck is a Bayonetta? What more is there to say about Sephiroth? He's an iconic villain who single-handedly saved the Game Awards 2020 from being a total fucking waste of time. In terms of gameplay, he's a bit light for my taste, but he plays like Sephiroth should. He's powerful but not overly broken. He's graceful yet savage, and destructive but in an artistic kind of way. It's Sephiroth, a walking powerhouse and one of the most iconic villains in gaming. Plus, he brought a stage that's actually pretty balanced to play on, and way more classic Final Fantasy tunes to enjoy. Sephiroth said it the best. He will never be just a memory. Remember what I said about nostalgia? That's how I feel about Terry. I love SNK. I played a grip of King of Fighters and Metal Slug when I was younger, and of course you can't forget the greatest golf game ever, Neo Turf Masters. When Terry was announced, I was riding my bike to work, checking into the Nintendo Direct stream. When I saw Terry's trailer, I nearly lost my shit. I was very happy that SNK got into Smash period, and Terry was the perfect fit. He feels so natural in the Super Smash Bros. Gameplay. It's like playing a Fatal Fury or King of Fighters character in Smash, which makes sense as Sakurai was influenced by SNK games when developing the Smash series. As someone who came from a fighting game background, I took to Terry like a fish to water. I even thought about maining him competitively, but that requires effort. SNK seemed super hyped to have Terry in Smash, as SNK was cool with having 50 songs being in the game, as well as several cameos from other SNK fighters. SNK probably realized that there isn't going to be any better promotion than being in Super Smash Bros., so might as well go all in. I think a lot of Nintendo fans weren't familiar with Terry or SNK prior to his debut in Smash, so I'm glad that Sakurai and Nintendo helped introduce a new generation to SNK's legacy.
Invited to steal the greatest treasure of all.
What? Smash Bros? Is this for real?
You never saw it coming, but I did. Here's a video I made around November 2018. Let's be real, if Alice got in on Smash, it's gonna be Joker from Persona 5. Same deal with Cloud for Smash 4. Terra and Flint's games were on Nintendo, but people know and care about Cloud and Joker. Joker, aka Akira Kurusu, aka Ren Amamiya, is from one of the best JRPGs ever in Persona 5, and he needs to debut in a fighter. Armed with his persona and a bunch of knives and guns, Joker steals the show. I hope there's a scene in story mode where Joker tries to romance all the Smash sisters, but ends up getting stepped in the nuts by Palutena. And lo and behold, the Game Awards 2018 rolled around, and Joker is confirmed for Fighters Pass 1. I was right. Regrettably, the Palutena nut stomping hasn't occurred yet. Joker really set the stage for DLC Fighters to come. Nintendo wanted to go outside the box more than what people expected for the DLC for Super Smash Bros. And that's what I've always respected about Nintendo. They always go for the unexpected, for better or for worse. But Joker was for the better. Joker is stylish, fun to play as, and somewhat annoying to fight against, but not overly cheap. Mementos is a loving tribute to one of the greatest RPG series of all time, and what more is there to say? Joker definitely stole our hearts. So that's my ranking for each Fighters Pass character, worst to best, and this is just my opinion, this is just my thoughts on the situation. So don't kill me, Min Min or Banjo stands, just because I don't like your character doesn't mean I dislike them being in the game at all. Something I wanted to make clear in each review of each character is that I'm happy that they're here. Even if I don't like playing as them or playing against them, I'm happy for the people who are happy to have those characters in the game. And overall, I got to say, I'm very happy with Nintendo's choices for downloadable fighters for Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. I think they got a good spread of characters, and each character definitely has their own fandom. I do gotta say that looking at both Fighters Passes from a wider angle, there are a lot of JRPG characters and to a lesser extent fighting game characters. And as someone who is both a fan of JRPGs and fighting games, I love a lot of these characters, but if you're not a fan of either genre, I can see why you might be a bit disappointed. But hey, power to you. I hope you got at least one character you really enjoy playing as. But wait, there's more. There's one more. There's one more character to be released for Fighters Pass 2 for Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. So who is this last character going to be? Well, here are my thoughts on the situation. I don't think the last fighter will be from an M-rated game because the ESRB are a bunch of bitches. What I mean is, whenever a Mii costume trailer drops and there's a character from an M-rated game, like say Travis Touchdown or Dante, in the American broadcast, it doesn't say cross No More Heroes or cross Devil May Cry. It said cross Travis or cross Dante. I think this has something to do with the ESRB, and if Nintendo has branding from an M-rated game in the broadcast, that will either bump up the rating for the broadcast itself or potentially Smash itself. This seems to be a thing for Americans only, and this seems to be a change post-2020, as Joker could get into Super Smash Bros. Just fine, not to mention the legacy content from previous games. I could also very well be talking out of my ass here. I'm also hoping it won't be Crash or Tracer because Activision Blizzard is ran by a bunch of fuckheads who don't deserve anything, and I'm going to go out on a limb here and assume that Nintendo doesn't want to associate with Activision, given how controversial they've been in the past few years, and that's putting it mildly. I also don't see Rayman being in, despite Nintendo still working with Ubisoft for a few different projects. Ubisoft seems to just pretend that Rayman doesn't exist anymore. Plus, you already have the spirit in Smash, and I think if Rayman was gonna happen, it would have already happened back in Smash 4, but that's just how I feel about the situation. I've also noticed that Nintendo is being very deliberate about avoiding standard requests for Smash Fighters. You know, the ones that people have been asking for, like the Bandana D, Waluigi, Crash, etc. I'm not sure how deliberate it has been on Nintendo's end, but it is interesting that basically all the characters from both Fighters Passes 1 and 2 landed on the unexpected character page for the Super Smash Bros. On TV tropes. So with that said, it's really hard to predict one single character in the ocean of potential characters for Super Smash Bros. Ultimates. So who will be the last character? I don't know. This is going to be the last character for Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, so they gotta go out with a bang. So who will it be?
Well, I've been monitoring your progress closely, but this gentleman here clearly stands out above the rest. Who, me? Yeah, sure. Woohoo!
I used that joke in a previous video. It was funny then, it's still funny now. The only thing I can definitively say about the final character for Super Smash Bros. Ultimate is, it will definitely not be Waluigi. Sorry Waluigi stands, pick a cooler character next time. Though I will say, if Nintendo puts in some Sakura Wars or Yakuza content into Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, that would be tits. Anyway guys, thank you for watching. You are the best, and I love you. So let me know down there in the comments, how would you rank each fighter for Fighters Pass 1 and 2, worst to best, and who do you want for the final character for Smash Ultimate? Let me know down there in the comments, and while you're down there, make sure you subscribe to the channel and hit the bell as well for notifications on future videos. And feel free to hit me up on the social media, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, at ZMangs, you know what it is. And with that, I will sign off for now, and I'll see you on the next video. Later everyone, take care.